had a wee bit of a fender bender last week. He's turned into the front of me, so if that's the case, you would be stuck to the front of my truck. She probably had her world rocked in a bad way. The thing died, and it died a horrible death. I'll do a wee run down the rest and be thankful, and I'll play my favourite song that I've got there now. Morning, sweet pea. Welcome back. Or just welcome if this is your first time dipping your toes into my videos. My name's Jay. Class 1 and Class 2 truck driver. And I always say that because I drive both, so I may as well tell you that I drive both. A few people have picked out and said, oh, if you're a Class 1 driver, you're automatically a Class 2 driver. Not everybody that drives an Arctic can drive a rigid. And there'll be a few of them that'll tell you that. But I do both. We're in the rigid now, and we're heading back to Tarbert. I know it's been on the channel a few times, but I love this drive. Absolutely love it. There's a few drives up this way that I enjoy, and this is one of them. Gives a sec. It's still kind of dark. It's probably going to look darker on the camera than it actually is, but we was here the other week there, and this was all pretty light. The video came out, so the sun was actually blazing on against the snow. I had a wee bit of a fender bender last week, and it's just not very good for comfort. Suspension is very stiff. I had a bit of a fender bender last week, and I'm not going to show it. I'll go on the dash cam, but I'm not going to show it. I just didn't feel the need to show it. To be fair, you can't really see anything anyway. The basics here is, I come up the roundabout, I'll put a picture of the roundabout, like the satellite view of the picture of the roundabout. But I wanted to go Ferry Road, which is the third exit if you're coming off of Telford Road, and it's a lane 2 to join, so that you can come off at Ferry Road. There's a hell of a lot of people that use lane 1 to sort of skirt right round the outside edge of the roundabout, and many of them seem to think that they're in the right, because once you join the roundabout, it turns into 2 lanes once you kind of get past the first 2 exits. And the reason it turns into 2 lanes is because there's traffic lights just off the roundabout. It's to try and minimise congestion on the roundabout, because as soon as you get off the roundabout, the 2 lanes are then become a merge and turn again back down to 1 lane. But on this particular day, I've come down to the roundabout. I had the urban trailer on the Arctic, and there was 2 cars in front of me, and lane 1 was completely empty, nothing in it. The 2 cars eventually managed to go, and it was my shot to go. I've come up to the line, there's 1 car coming round, and then for what I can see, I'm clear to go. I checked again, lane 1, I can see 2 cars coming down. There's a blue car and a red car. And I joined the roundabout. They're a good 20-30 yards behind. They're not even at the roundabout yet, these 2 cars. Anyway, I joined the roundabout. Have a quick look in lane 1 again as I join the roundabout. They're not there yet. And I start heading to go round where it splits into 2 lanes. I've said it before, as a truck driver, I will always go into the leftmost lane that I can be, because the left hand side of your truck, that's the danger zone, right? That's where all the bad stuff happens. So I followed the lane markings into what would be lane 1 the split, and I heard the noise, and the only thing I can describe it is like I'd run over a big massive bag of Rice Krispies. And so I slammed on the brakes, as you would, and I had a look in my mirror, and I could see the red car sitting in the Pilton turn-off lane with his hazards on. And I thought, oh, he's went into the side of me. So I've got a dash cam. The audio records on it as well. So I thought, well, there's no point sitting on the roundabout trying to take pictures and discuss it. Clear the road. So I pulled off into the bus lane, into the bus stop bit, and got out and the person had decided to just disappear. There was no cars there. Now, luckily, there was a protest going on at Leonardo's, which is it's like a military. I think they make missile guidance systems. There's always people protesting there, and the police were there. So I ran down, I grabbed one of them, and he said he couldn't deal with it, but traffic had just left the protest. So he radioed them. They went flying past with their blues on, and I told the lad that I spoke to. I says, "You're looking for a red car," and they come back with a blue car. I thought, what the hell's going on here? The guy's like, "Is this a car?" And I was like, "No, I think it was a red car that hit me." I was like, "Well, no, this woman says she's just been hit by a truck." I was like, "Well, I've not actually physically hit anybody, somebody hit me, but let's have a look." And sure enough, the whole side of her car was all badly damaged. I should add, there was virtually no damage to my truck. There was a black mark on the front corner, and my passenger camera, it sits on that corner as well, and that had some scrapes on it. But other than that, nothing. A tiny wee fracture in the bumper, I think, but nothing to write home about. It was fine. But, so I went and checked the front of my truck properly, and sure enough, there was blue paint stuck to my truck. Turns out it was her I hit. Now, the title of the video should be why truck drivers get paid a hell of a lot of money, and this is what I want to go into. So if we go back to when I'm joining this roundabout, right? The average person is just going to look at the roundabout and just look for a spot to fly out into, and just, for us, for truck drivers in general, right, the level of awareness that you should have for driving about, it's pretty high, extremely high. So when I've come down to the roundabout, I've not just noticed that lane 1's empty. I've noticed that the Davidson Mains, which is the first junction, that is also empty. It's because there's a red light up there. That tells me that I'm not going to have to worry about anybody flying out there trying to get in front of me. For the Western General Hospital side, there was nothing coming out. I think there was 1 or 2 cars were turning onto Telford Road, which is the road I'm coming from. I noticed the blue lights that were down Pilton Way, but they were stopped. And I noticed the protesters with their flags. So I thought, well, I'm safe there, I'm not going to have to bang on anything. Now, obviously, all this happens very quickly. But I also noticed that as I pulled onto the roundabout, that the lights on Ferry Road were changing, so there was a high chance I was probably going to have to stop on the roundabout anyway. So I've pulled out, nice and slow, and like I said, I was constantly checking lane 1. And because I know people like to skirt round the front of you to try and take Ferry Road for lane 1, I'm very aware of that. But like I say, as I pulled onto the roundabout and I'm looking, I've seen the 2 cars. Now, just before I started to turn right, and when I done my final check and I could only see the red car, the blue car had actually put the foot down. It was sitting right there on the corner of the truck. I've looked to the right, seen that the lights are fully red, and I've just kind of backed off the accelerator because I'm just going to stop so that people coming up for Pilton can actually use the roundabout. I'm not going to block it. And that was at that exact point that I heard that crunch. The woman's came that fast. I thought she took the turn in for Davidson Mains. I thought, oh, she must have went left because she's gone already. She's disappeared. And she hadn't. She was sitting right on my blind spot. And I don't know how she missed a big massive truck in a ring mirror, but she's turned into the front of me, and that's why all up the side of her car was, well, it's probably going to need new door skins and whatnot. Put it that way, it was pretty beat up. I might add, the car was only 8 weeks old. Right, it's 9:15, and we will continue our story. Anyway, ultimately the police figured out that it was this woman in the blue car that had struck my vehicle. they were quite happy for us to just deal with it ourselves, exchange insurance and whatnot. The police lad did say to me, he's like, oh, she's brand new, she's got to be no bother in that, she's really genuine. I had to point out that that was probably his uniform that was inspiring the quiet, timid mouse type deal. But as soon as he disappears, that could change. My uniform doesn't inspire such such timidness. Then, sure as crap, I drew a diagram for her, where I was, where she was, what lane she was in and where she was meant to go and where she actually went, and straight up lied to my face. No, that never happened. I was in front of you, you hit me from behind. So if that's the case, you would be stuck to the front of my truck, right? Well, I say, when I heard the noise, I never felt a single thing. She probably had her world rocked in a bad way when she collided with me. I explained to her, so I've got on dash cam, if you were in front of me, then that'll show that. And then I would consider that my fault, regardless of what insurance company. If she was in front of me and I hit her, I would consider that my fault. But she wasn't having any of it. All my fault. How do people have the brass neck to... I mean, that could have been my job. If I didn't have that dash cam, it'd have been my word against hers, and she would have been the one that's believed, because the truck drivers are the ones that are supposed to avoid all these situations. In my eyes, and I've looked over the dash cam footage a million times, there was not a whole lot I could have done about that situation. There was a hell of a lot of information for me to take in, and 90% of it is autonomous when you're taking in all this information. You hear people like the knocking motorcyclists off their bikes, cyclists getting knocked off their bikes, and the people squealing that, oh, I never saw them. It's actually been scientifically proven that that's exactly what happened. They never saw them. I used to ride motorbikes, not anymore, but the amount of people that'll make eye contact with you and then pull out. Then they take eye contact as they might actually, they've saw you, because they might not have. Obviously we're not designed to be travelling at these kind of speeds, but with cars, motorbikes, trucks, whatever, bicycles even, we do. So your brain takes whatever information that your eyes are sending it, and it filters out as much as possible to try and give you basic knowledge, something that'll keep you on the road, right? And that's exactly what happens with motorcyclists and that. People are watching for cars, trucks, but they're never watching for motorcycles. So their brain just filters them out. They get used to not seeing the motorcycles, and their brain decides that that's actually useless information and disregards it. And then they pull out and the biker gets hurt or worse. But she's adamant that she was in front of me. The dashcam footage and that's been sent off, but what she wasn't aware of is I was recording that day, so as soon as I pulled over in the bus stop, I switched my microphone on. I've got the audio of me talking to the police and the audio of me talking to her. And her reasoning for why I was in the wrong is because, and she admitted this on the audio, she's always used lane 1 to go to Ferry Road. She's done it millions of times before and never had any problems. So for what I can gather from what she's saying, she's come up alongside me, crossed into my lane without even looking to see where I am, and smacked the corner of my truck, and then done a runner. The police found her down in Portland at the shops inspecting the damage to her car. I don't think this section of the road's been on it. Might be because it's not that interesting. You haven't really got to see that much. But in regards to why the truck drivers get paid so much money, right? Like £50,000 plus, right? And the reality is the safety aspect of it all, right? So I'm not just in charge in my own safety. I'm in charge of everybody's safety around me as well, right? That's the way I see it. I mean, this is only my opinion. It might be totally wrong, right? Obviously, back in the day, for ye olde truck drivers who were driving ERFs and crash boxes and whatnot, the biggest safety system they had in their cabs was their seatbelt. That's it, right? Everything else the driver had to take care of, right? The braking distances, the lane discipline, the anti-collision detection, right? All that's automated in trucks now. This has got lane departure warnings. It's got collision detection, which might add is the most sensitive bit of kit ever to be put in a truck. Sometimes you'd be going round the corner and it detects a wall and starts going daft at you. It's frustrating. The lane departure, I'll switch that off, especially on like roads like this where you're constantly cutting white lines and whatnot, right? So it works, it detects the white lines. Absolute murder in the snow, right? But I'll never switch off the collision detection, because if I was in a collision and that's switched off and say somebody got seriously hurt and the police investigate and I've got that switched off, that's a massive no-no. So I don't do it. But to give you examples of like how I consider other people's safety as well as my own, if you go back to the video with the truck driver that forgot he'd left the dual carriageway, and I'm still adamant that lad forgot. There is no way, I refuse to believe any professional driver, regardless of how reckless they are, would be that reckless. Right, that was a huge blind corner he was trying to overtake on. But the question that got put to me, and a few people were letting in to get the dash cam footage for Facebook or whatever, right? The biggest question I got was, why the hell did you not just slam on the anchors? And the reason for that is other people's safety, right? I did say it in the video, and I kind of thought maybe people would wise up to what was going on. But there was also a 32 ton rigid had pulled out, as well as the lad in front. I had a 32 ton rigid alongside me. It was alongside my trailer. I had the 40 foot trailer on, and his entire truck was alongside the trailer. And as well as that, I had a van right up my hoop, very close to me, obviously planning to do the same thing. Now, when he pulled out, I started flashing, but you kind of see, I was still a really good distance away from him. Remember, it was dash cam, and it was zoomed right in. You guys saw the 4K footage. That was also zoomed in, so you could see better, right? So they were still a good distance away from me. What I did do was back off, right? I just backed off the accelerator, cut the cruise control, and my engine brake kicked in. So I was slowing down, right? And on my Arctic, when the engine brake comes on, my brake lights come on. So the guy behind me knew I was braking. I didn't want to brake too hard and hold the guy out in lane 2. Well, in the opposite flow of traffic. I didn't want to do that. I needed him to get back in. He figured it out pretty quick, and he jammed on the brakes and he pulled back in. But he had to pull back in behind the van. That's how close the van was to me. So that's a case of taking into account all eventualities, other people's safety as well. Like that, I was crapping myself. I said that in the video. I was absolutely crapping it. I thought, oh, we could end up being a minor part of this, but I also didn't want to create my own chaos, my own carnage. But the amount of folk that thought, oh, he's just doing that so he can get views. Some people were actually disappointed that that happened and said I wasted their time. Like, what do you think I'm going to put on? The people would have died in that accident if they'd come together. Absolutely, because that was an Arctic fully loaded with oxygen bottles. Somebody commented that I thought it was gas. It turns out it was oxygen bottles. Something to do with a white tank with a black top. But that's one example of taking it into consideration other people's safety. Another one for you. I was coming around the Edinburgh City bypass. There was a tractor, and for whatever reason, people really struggle to overtake tractors on the bypass. Everybody gets into lane 2, they all match the speed of the tractor, nobody really goes anywhere. So I had decided I'm just going to sit in lane 1. I'll eventually catch up to the tractor, and hopefully the traffic will have cleared and I can get out into lane 2. Now, I caught up to the tractor and I wasn't able to get out. The traffic just wasn't clearing past the tractor for whatever reason. And so I put my indicator on, hoping that somebody would create a decent gap for me to pull into. Now, there was a lad flashing me out, but the problem is, if I'd pulled it there, I would have been right on the bumper of the car in lane 2, and he'd have been right on my backside in lane 2. And when I looked forward, I could see brake lights coming on. So originally I started to pull out, and then I looked and I saw the brake lights. I pulled back into lane 1, and I'm glad I did, because that had an accordion effect. The guy that was at the front that braked originally maybe only touched his brakes lightly, but everybody else panicked because they're all bunched up so close together that by the time it got to where we were, the guy practically hammered the anchors on, and that gap that I was originally pulling into very quickly got closed up by the van that had flashed me out. So it's all about awareness. You know, a lot of car drivers will go about and they're literally just looking 2 feet in front of themselves. What's the car in front doing? So you see a lot of rear ends at roundabouts and whatnot. They're not paying attention to what's in front of them. They're looking at the roundabout. They see a big gap and they're just assuming that the person in front has got to go for it. And that person in front could be distracted on their phone, looking elsewhere. Well, just not paying attention. And the amount of rear ends you see at roundabouts and junctions because the person behind went for it and the person in front hasn't. So that's another reason why I think truck drivers should be paid. But the wages have come right down. Put it that way. But I'll switch off for now, and then we'll continue in a little bit, because I feel like I've probably already recorded well over half an hour's worth of stuff on this alone. What is that? There's stuff on the road. Hey, it's 9:15. We're about 45 minutes away from Kennaicraig ferry terminal, and this lad is spraying the utmost amount of crap into my windscreen ever. I keep having to clean it with the scooshies, which makes me sad. I've backed off a bit, but I think he's fully loaded and he's struggling up the hills. I had kind of hoped he'd maybe pull over into one of the laybys to let people pass. Not everybody does it. I've stopped twice so far on the 83 to let the traffic clear. Currently we've only got 2 cars and a bin motor behind us, so we're not too bad now. If it builds up a wee bit more, I might just pull over myself so that I'm not the problem. Which kind of brings me on to what I was saying before about people's awareness and how their brain filters out stuff and all that. Nobody's looking at this truck and seeing a dad or a brother or a partner or a husband, whatever. They're just seeing a big piece of metal that's in their way. That's how road rage happens so quick, because you kind of forget that there's a person sitting in that truck just trying to make a living, might I add. But people's patience once they sit into that car seat, it's minuscule. Some of the stuff people will pull just to get ahead. You ask any truck driver what's the biggest thing that happens to you on a daily basis, and that's the must get in front mentality. The stunts people will pull to get in front of a truck are phenomenal, and that rolls into our awareness, the heightened awareness that truck drivers have got. Can I let him go? I can't. I'll just back it off. Nah, you know what? Nah, nobody's want to go for it. They're quite happy to sit behind me apparently. Nice big straight, but I don't know what I'll take. Aye, you take like a normal cross junction, right? Say it's a 2-lane cross junction. Left hand lanes like left and straight over. Right hand lanes turn right. When somebody pulls up alongside you, say like the truck's sitting at the front, they're going straight over. Someone pulls up alongside you, we'll very quickly be able to tell what your intentions are just by looking at your car. The position of your car, the road position. Is your hand sitting on top of the left hand indicator? Things like that. They're all cues to us that shenanigans are about to happen. Most of us are just let it go. There's no point in us getting all antsy about it, trying to beat you off the line or anything like that. One, we're never going to beat a car off the line that's intent on getting in front of us. They've got to do it. there is whoever drivers out there who will do it. I've seen drivers do it, trucks rolling up to the line, and the lights change and there's a car trying to sort of beat them, and they'll put the foot down, try and sort of close that gap. It's not worth the hassle. That's the dash cam mentality that some people have. Oh, I've got a dash cam, it proves I was in the right. Well, not really, because you saw it coming, but you still accelerated to try and get in front of them. If the accident happens, at best that would go 50-50. If it's a truck that's involved in it, it might actually go against you because you're supposed to know better. That's that, in my eyes, is where the professional side of this comes into it. People bandit at you, like, you know, you fail a reverse or you're struggling to manoeuvre. Oh, it's supposed to be a professional driver. That's nothing to do with it. That is absolutely nothing to do with being a professional driver. Manoeuvring your truck around on sites or loading bays or anything like that, nothing to do with being professional. Not a thing. It's all about how you conduct yourself out on the road, which is going back onto what I've said about, it's not just my safety that I'm concerned for, it's everybody else who's around me. Now, obviously I said about the safety systems that are coming in. The more of these safety systems that come in, the more employers are able to turn around and go, I didn't need to pay you that much. Truck driver wages are no a patch on what they used to be, and it boils down to that, the lack of need for a driver to be the safety side of it. That's what I'm trying to get at. My brain was just farting now. He's finally pulled over, so the next one that we get, I will pull over, because I think there is a bit of, is there? Can't see. Hey, whatever video length this is, by the way, I'm just going to put it out. So if it ends up an hour long and that's not your thing, I do apologise. But I'm just really trying to get across what it's like to be a truck driver and what's expected of you. I can give you an example of where I personally went wrong. I was going along Queen Street. I was doing bang on 30 miles an hour, and there was two cars behind me. That was it. There was nothing else on the road, nothing coming towards us. If you don't know Queen Street, it's a two-lane road. Is that it? No, that's maybe a bit of a funky one with big massive potholes in it. It's a two-lane road, and there's loads of wee side streets and that. And I seen a woman come jogging down a cross junction. She come shooting out one of the side streets, and I saw her. I was in this. Well, there wasn't this specific one. It was a rigid. I think it was one of my black ones. Now I picked up on the fact that she had headphones on. She had only looked to the right. And my mistake was thinking, because she'd only looked to the right and hadn't looked in my direction yet, that she was just going to go to the island in the middle of the junction. That's exactly where I thought she was going to go. I made an assumption there, and I was wrong. She never looked left because she hadn't the intention of looking left. She was just going to jog straight across the road. Just a young lass, she must have been like in her 20s. And that's exactly what she done. She ran out in front of me at 30 miles an hour. Hold on. Just let the bucket motor go. There we go. Oh, come on, baby. Big power, big power. She's got 4 and a bit ton on, so she's a bit slow at pulling off. Aye, but I mean, I never collided with her. The brakes on the truck were really good. My problem occurred when I got in line with the island. It was in line with my pillar, my A-pillar, and my massive wing mirrors. As you can see, they're absolutely huge. So for a split second I couldn't see her, and in the next minute she was in front of me. Slammed on the brakes, completely missed her, but I slammed on the brakes that hard that my automatic truck stalled. And I did upload that video somewhere. I think it might have been TikTok. It was actually, it was TikTok. It was long before I started YouTube. And everybody agreed, like, her fault. She never looked left. But I always consider that to be a my fault thing. That was me. I should have anticipated that she might not be looking left and might just run out in front of me anyway. I should have backed off, but I didn't. So I take that as that's my error. So yeah, there's another example for you. Right, we're in Ardrisheg, or however you say it, I don't know. I'm sure somebody will be along to correct me if this video goes out before the previous one where I spoke about Ardrisheg. Excuse me. I was just thinking about, like what I said about the title and that, trying to explain why truck drivers are paid so well. A lot of people think it boils down to getting the truck from A to B. Nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it whatsoever. It's virtually impossible to get lost nowadays. There's so much tools at your disposal to tell you where you are and where you need to go. So it boils down to the safety side of it, which is slowly getting taken away from us. I say one of the reasons why the wages are coming down. Right? I know that the government had that big drive to bring in new drivers and said there was this massive shortage. There wasn't a shortage of licence holders. There was more than enough people that had their Class 1 licence that just weren't doing the job anymore for various reasons. Either they've been doing it a long time and all the new rules and regulations have come in and the new trucks and that, they gave it up. They didn't like it. It was a way of life a long time ago with the CBs and whatnot. I suppose that to an extent it is still sort of a way of life, but it's a different way of life now. With the government scheme promising people the £70,000 a year plus, I mean it's still an achievable wage. What they didn't tell you is that you will work the hours for it. You will work like a dog, and if you're doing RDC work and all that, I mean I've never done it, so this is second-hand information. For what I've been told, you're treated like a dog. I've seen some pretty horrible videos. People sitting on buckled old seats in the freezing cold, with no facilities, not allowed to sit in their truck. That's how badly they're thought of. Not even allowed to sit in their truck in case they hurt someone. It's practically a miracle that they make it to the RDC without causing a major incident. I'm fortunate I didn't have that. One of the safety features that I don't have that I'm glad for, because it sounds really annoying, is they have a driver monitoring system. It's a camera, it sits on your dash and it just stares at your face, and artificial intelligence analyses what you're looking at, and if it feels that you're distracted from the road, it warns you that you need to get your eyes back on the road. And I say about this truck having the lane assist and the collision detection system. Some people's trucks are hooked up to their office, and if the collision detection system goes off, it tells the office, and then the office are right on the phone what's just happened. Full camera systems all the way around the truck, inside and out, by the way. But some people are getting recorded inside their truck. But a lot of people, there's been a few comments about people saying, "Oh, you're an inspiration, I really fancy it," and all that. You're only seeing what I do and what I enjoy, and I enjoy it. It doesn't seem to be the norm for the way I'm treated and the trucks that I'm given. If you just starting out, you're going to end up on like RDC work or container work or tippers. Tippers seems to be a big thing as well. I don't know. I mean, there must be quite a few companies out there that are still like my company, but I've said it before, I'm trusted to do my job. It comes with what are now basic safety systems, but I still see it as my priority. I don't think, oh, I've got lane assist, I didn't need to worry, or I've got collision detection, I didn't need to worry. I didn't trust them. I didn't trust these systems. They're there, and as much as I can leave them on, I will leave them on. I say the collision detection will always be on. But the lane assist, that gets switched off quite a lot because it is infuriating sometimes. It's also got the pedestrian warning system, another massive pain in the backside. It'll detect an ant at the side of the road and start going daft. It only works under 10 mile an hour. But that's what I've got mirrors for. I use them a lot, a hell of a lot. It's one of the reasons why the head cam doesn't work. I think it's like every 5 seconds they train you to use your mirrors. I don't use them that much, but I do use them quite a lot, especially in like built up areas and that. But that's why head cam doesn't work, because my head's on a swivel that much. Makes people seasick. I feel like this is probably going to be one of the boring videos. When we're doing the video editing all the time, my own voice is really starting to irritate me, because like you only watch it once. I will watch my video multiple times, multiple clips. I'll watch them, but like, no, I need to cut that bit out, or I'll leave that bit in, or I'll add an extra bit in, or this needs a wee bit of information. And then once it's all edited and rendered and put together, I then watch the whole video myself to make sure that there isn't any mistakes in that. Some mistakes still get through, and I do apologise. I am only human after all. But aye, it feels like this is going to be a whole lot of my voice. And I apologise if the camera view keeps changing, because my camera does not want to stay in one place. The roads are a bit beat up now, and every time I hit a pothole, the camera view seems to change. So if that's bugging you, again, I do apologise. Wow, I went on the most massive tangent ever. The point I was trying to make is I was thinking about the title and the thumbnail, and I got up this morning to a comment about a clickbait title. It was a wind farm one that I failed because it was too dangerous, and I think the title was something like wind farm delivery goes drastically wrong, and the thumbnail was too dangerous to continue. Not exactly the definition of a clickbait thumbnail in my eyes, or title, because that's exactly what happened. I know it doesn't show it, but I was kind of on the edge of my seat trying to get up that hill, and then trying to navigate my way to get myself turned round. The last thing I want to do is get stuck when they're that busy with concrete and all that, or worse, go off the side of the cliff. I mean, I feel like that's what the guy wanted. I should have went off the edge of that. Was the only thing that would have justified that kind of title and thumbnail. Anything ever like that happens, you're not going to see it. There's a lad who made his whole career out of dramatising everything, and I've found with the dramatic title and thumbnails, they get loads of views. I think one of them's like 26,000 views. The one I was talking about earlier on, going up to Inverness, right? But how much people actually watched that video is abysmal. I think it's like 4 minutes the average person watched that video for. So basically, they watched the clip with the dash cam, listened to me rant for a bit, and then switched it off. Mate, you were totally on my side of the road. So I try and sort of steer clear for that, because I am building up the subscribers, and the people that are subscribing, they're watching. I feel like the people that subscribed when there was all that drama, they're only waiting for the next dramatic video to come out, which they're going to be few and far between. I'm just not that kind of person. But this other lad, I don't even think he's posting anymore. I've spoke about him before, Trucking UK. I can't remember his real name. I did used to watch his stuff, and at first it was kind of like, wow, whoa. And then he got hooked onto the whole, whoa, I need to make this as dramatic as possible. And some of the most basic roads, the guy was making a right meal out of it, like it was the most dangerous thing in the world to be doing. And I didn't want to take away from the fact that driving trucks is an inherently dangerous job, but it's never been more safer than what it is now. But he's constantly, and I think he's burnt himself out. But he clocked up like 90,000 subscribers just on dramatic effect all the time. And at one point he actually admitted, I'm only doing this for kids, that's all the drama's all for. And the guy got nothing but hate. I mean, I had a couple of people that were like, I know what he was doing and where he was going. But some, like as another truck driver, I was looking at it and I was thinking, What's the issue here? Why is this? Why are you making such a meal of this? You've got like 3 feet that side of you, 3 feet that side of you. That's practically a motorway in my eyes. But he doesn't post anymore. I'm sure he managed to buy himself a truck. He sold his car, and he managed to buy himself a truck off the proceeds of selling the car and his YouTube channel. But unfortunately, rather than follow his head, he followed his heart, and he bought himself a beat up Scania. Paid a fortune to get it painted rather than pay a fortune to get the engine looked at and all that. And ultimately the thing died, and it died a horrible death. Not fixable from what I can understand. So I think he's back driving for a company. But I prefer this. All the owner drivers, the appeal sounds great. You're in truck, you're in work, you're getting the full whack. But I've been self-employed before. It's not all it's cracked up to be. Oh my god, that was a big hole. You're responsible for everything. I was my own worst boss. I never stopped working, and I never refused work, because I was always scared in case that was the last bit of work for a long time. So, you work yourself into the ground. I never ever took holidays. Holidays were what I classed as the periods when we were quiet, which was very rare. The haulage industry is very cutthroat. Prices are not good from what I'm told. I mean, I've not looked too much into it because I didn't have that much interest in owning my own truck for business. I'd like to own my own truck for pleasure. Imagine buying yourself a truck and doing it all up just to take to truck shows and that would be nice. But I really didn't fancy being an owner driver. Sounds like a hell of a lot of hassle. But anyway, I'm going to switch off now because I reckon that's probably about another 20 minutes I've just added onto the video. Right, we're on 3 hours 43 minutes driving, and we're 12 minutes away, so my god, I probably have just added like 20 minutes on. This will just be a mega bumper video that'll flop because people will go, an hour long? I'm not watching that. We'll catch up in a wee bit. Right, we're just over a mile away. It is 9:59. We're on 3 hours 54 minutes driving, so plenty of time to get in, get this stuff off, and then GTFO. Although I'll have my 45-minute break in there once I'm tipped. Don't know what I'm doing tomorrow either. I'd imagine it'd be nothing special. I think one day I'm going to make a super clickbaity thumbnail and title. Wow, that was really hard to think about there. Just to see what happens. Not today though. I won't be doing it on this video. Try and bear in mind that everything I've said previously about why truck drivers get paid crazy amounts of money, that's just my opinion, right? There's nowhere where you find any information saying that this lad right here is correct. That is exactly why we pay you big bucks, right? Ironically, some of the best paid guys in the industry are the ones that are doing the RDC work and all that, but it's the one where you're treated the worst. So they guys are probably getting paid big bucks because nobody else wants to do it. I certainly didn't want to do it. Apart from the fact that it seems to be quite boring, I didn't think I could be bothered with that many different people talking to me like I'm a substandard human being. At least in this game, you know what you're getting. Most people hate that you've turned up. They want to deal with you, but they all didn't mind a bit of banter. It's a rare occasion when you turn up and somebody is that moody and stroppy that they get me doing. It's nigh on impossible to get me in such a mood. If they're having a bad day, they're having a bad day. It doesn't affect me. I've got to pull in here then out. Check my wide angle, there's nothing coming. and then I'm just going to reverse up alongside that trailer. If it'll go into reverse. Sometimes if you're a bit quick to get on the gas once you've put it into reverse, it just doesn't do anything. Sometimes even worse, sometimes it just flops into neutral. But naturally the weather has took a great turn. Right, that's us done in there. Hopefully you get to see the tip. I think you should. It did look like the camera angle was a wee bit too high. I'm not 100% sure. I'll need to wait and see when I go back and I get home. See what it's like. But I've got the camera up on the roof now. We've actually been driving for an hour and 20 minutes. So we go around here and then we'll be up heading towards the rest and be thankful. But I just thought I'd take you to a different bit, because you're going to see it with this side. It's even more spectacular heading back south than it is like going north. But that's maybe personal preference. I think it looks a lot better for this side. I mean, it looks amazing both ways, but you get what I'm saying, eh? You know what I'm saying. I was checking my YouTube thing to see anybody comments on it, and I said earlier on about clickbait titles and thumbnails, and the lad that actually mentioned it, Stone 2020 I think it was his username was, he actually just, all he done was wrote another clickbait title, and I thought, oh great, somebody's annoyed with it. But he came back and I actually said to him, I didn't think it was that clickbaity. I still didn't. I mean, he had a point in saying, but it didn't go drastically wrong. The title was something like that. Wind farm delivery goes drastically wrong. Now, in my eyes, it went drastically wrong for me because I never got the delivery done, and I hate that. Right? And now in a viewer's eyes, maybe it wasn't drastically wrong to them because, you know, you're just sitting watching it. But his opinion was that my content's good enough to no need clickbaity thumbnails. Yes, thumbnails. I don't need clickbait thumbnails and titles, but you kind of do, right? Because I could make the best truck vlog in the world ever, and if I put the wrong title on it, nobody will ever know it's that good because they won't click it. I'm competing with thousands of other people who do this, and some of them have been doing it for a long time and they're damn good at it. I've been doing this like, I think, coming up 8 months, and you can say really it's only in the last sort of 3 or 4 months that I've actually managed to find the style and what I like to show. So in the long term, I've not really been doing it 5 minutes, really. So I'm competing with all these other people, so I need to put out titles and thumbnails that'll grab people's attention. The thumbnail's what you first see, right? So that needs to have something on it that makes you go, oh, and then you'll read the title, and I need you to go, this is a video I want to watch. Now if you're a regular viewer, you already recognise my thumbnails right away. As soon as it pops up on YouTube, that's Jay. Without even reading anything, you'll know it's me, because I've got that set style that I'm sticking with now. But for somebody who's never saw me before, it's just another thumbnail in a sea of thumbnails. What's to encourage them to click my video? Now, I try and keep the clickbait to an absolute minimum, right? But it needs to have some sort of appeal to it to make people click. Now, if it's garbage content, they'll just go away, and then they'll probably never return to my videos again, because that first impression, well, this is garbage, they'll be watching this guy again, because people's time's precious, isn't it? But he's of the opinion that my content's good enough, I should just go with normal titles and thumbnails. But that's not going to bring in other people. I mean, I'll bring in some. There'll be somebody who's really bored, watched all the regulars and went, oh, maybe I'll click this guys and see what happens. But to really get people interested, you kind of need that. And I know it's a bit crappy, and I've apologised for it before in the past, but it's the only way I can drag new viewers to the channel to watch and say, oh, aye. And I like to think the content's not too terrible, that some people stick around. Not everybody, but there's no pleasing everybody, so right, we turn this corner. This is the top of the... No, we're not there yet. I thought we were at the top of it, we're not. We've still got a big long stretch to go. But I think what I'll do, I'll continue on with the mildly clickbaity thumbnails and titles. You made it this far, actually. Tell me your own opinion of my titles and thumbnails. Are they too clickbaity? Is it too much over the top? Let me know. All I'll do is I'll call it a day here. You've probably heard enough of my voice, and this wind is getting wild. And I'll do a wee run down the rest and be thankful, and I'll play my favourite song that I've got now. It's called Highland Echoes. Quite a few people are enjoying it. It's one of my favourites now. As you can probably tell by the amount of times it's on my videos, but I'll play it again. Right, anyway, I'll leave you with it, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Ancient stones under feet, whispers of the olden days, cold breeze cuts so deep. Castles loom and shadows gray, gilded history walks with me. Raintops on the cobbled streets, bagpipes lull the restless seas. Oh Scotland, you wild heart, wrap me in your tartan sky. Keep my soul in your mountain, where the eagles cry so high. Heather blooms on rugged trails, ghosts of warriors guard the glen. Thistle strong in blooming fields, nature's song, my only friend. Whiskey warmth in chilly night, stars dance on the look again. Stories pass round fireside, dreams rise with the morning trend. Castle deep, oh Scotland, you wild heart, wrap me in your tartan sky. Keep my soul in your mountain, where the eagles cry so high. Oh Scotland, you wild heart, wrap me in your tartan sky. Keep my soul in your mountain, where the eagles cry so high, so high. Oh high. Heather blooms on rugged trails, ghosts of warriors guard the glen. Thistle strong in blooming fields, nature's song, my own.